Hello,
Hello.
everyone. I got an echo, I think, but this is Dr. Kalpana Sandar and my co-host Marisol. We are doing our LinkedIn Live about wealth talks, and so excited to have you here. We do this every week. We're always talking about something relevant where it comes to money. And I thought today we'd talk about money and our nervous system. I feel like it's an important topic.
That's such a great topic because some of us can get squirmy when it comes to debt or when it comes to, their financial independence number. Most people don't even know what that is. And so if you're stumbling across this and you don't have a FIN number, well, we could certainly give you some clarity and guidance as to what that equation is.
And just knowing it will calm your nervous system down, because a lot of times our nervous systems are hyper reactive because there's too many things we don't know. There are too many things that are left unsettled. And it's amazing when you start settling those things, how calm you can actually feel and how much more peace you can actually feel in your world.
Right. And so you could just take your annual expenses and divide that by 4% or zero point zero 0.04, and that will give you your financial independence number. So now you have a target, you have a destination. And
Mhm.
so the how will figure itself out.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have a destination, you don't even, you got to have the destination to get the map on how to get there. So that's huge. And then once we know where we're trying to go, it's amazing how those things start to fall in place because we can actually see the goal. And then sometimes, maybe you want to buy something, maybe you want to go on a vacation that maybe isn't so necessary at this moment, or maybe it doesn't have to be as extravagant. Maybe you could do something less expensive or something. It just makes a difference in how you approach life to really prioritize the long-term goals as well as the short-term goals. But again, if you don't know where you're going, it's really hard to get there.
Right. So to give a tangible example, let's say your annual expenses are in the $60,000 range.
Hmm.
Well, that divided by 4% gives us about 1.5 million.
Okay. Okay.
And so if you have that by the time you're in retirement, you can supplement for those expenses. You will have liquid cash to compensate for all of that. Now, also keep in mind inflation and taxes, but that's a good way to start.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not a finite number, but at least it'll give you a ballpark of where you want to be. And then it gives you an idea of how close, how far you are to that, based on what you've got put away, because most people are not trained to think about long-term solutions. We're here. I feel like overall our society is very instant gratification. We're not trained to really think about the future. We're trained to think about the now. The now is important, but not at the expense of the future.
Yes. And so if you are having expenses that fluctuate very drastically, if you have debt in which you're trying to pay off, you need to consider the compounding that occurs for both debt and to keep more of your hard earned money.
Yeah, it's very, very important. Absolutely. And just $60,000 of expenses is not a lot, actually. Most people have more than that. So, it just kind of gives you an idea of, if it's 60,000, you're at 1.5 million, where you're going to be at 70,000, 80,000. It starts to go up quite a bit after that.
Yes. And so that's why when we sit down with people, we really give them two scenarios, right? Like option A and option B. Like, this is what it would look like if you were to save this much a month towards your future. It's kind of like paying yourself a rent
Yeah.
for your future expenses. So people could look at it that way, and they compound a lot faster than those who are just putting the bare minimum away a month.
Hmm. Oh, absolutely. And it's important because, the bottom line is these things can be structured very strategically, that you can actually be putting away something for the future as well as living your life in the now. If we really, really look at our finances, there are a lot of places where we can take or maybe stop some spending that may not be so necessary, maybe not even bringing you that much joy, but be more strategic about it, and then fund money into your future as well as the things that are more important to you in the present, so that you can live a more satisfying and fulfilling life all around. Because I think some people have it in their mindset, if I save for the future, I can't really have anything now. A lot of people feel that way. You don't want to give up stuff, but a lot of times you don't have to give up anything major. You could just give up things that don't matter.
Right. Yeah, a lot of it is that balance too, right? And just clarifying your goals, because once people see perhaps put themselves in the future shoes of their future self with a deficit and not having enough when they aren't as strong to work long hours or to have a demand of working with so many clients, you need to consider for all that your energy and how much time you're willing to expend to continue with your current caseload, whatever that looks like.
Totally. Because the thing people don't realize is as we get older, our capacity to do things at these kind of hours, working 10 to 12 hours a day is not really feasible. Maybe even if, depending on what you're doing in life, seeing this many clients or this or that, all of those things start to become a little more problematic if we're older. So, and that's what I was talking about with the nervous system. I mean, if your nervous system starts to realize that, and you're in a fight or flight mode all the time at that point, because you haven't adequately saved. If you actually have enough money that you have some kind of a leeway, you could actually slow down a little bit, give yourself some time to rest. That's actually more important sometimes than the things you may want to buy.
Oh, totally. Ooh, say that again for the people in the back.
We're a very materialistic society, so we want all the things, and we want the vacations. We want to, a lot of us are just keeping up with the Joneses, but the real success is when you can actually take time off without guilt, without freaking out your nervous system. Oh my god, I'm not going to have money. Oh my god, oh my god. That is the biggest gift of all.
Yes, peace of mind, knowing that your family is protected, just having that security, that income protection,
Mhm.
that foresight,
Mhm.
really sets everyone for success.
Totally, totally. And that's the thing. So I think I'm a big believer in making sure that you are set up well enough that if you need to shift careers, if you need to take some time off because you're going through stuff, or you're having some emotional issues, or going through a divorce, or things happen, people. Life isn't perfect. You
Yeah,
know, you have health challenges, your kids go through stuff. Think about how much more present you could be for the people that you love and yourself whenever something happens, because the reality is it will. I've gone through
right.
numerous things in my life where I've had to pull back a little bit and address the thing that was staring me in the face that had to get taken care of. And luckily, because I've always been very prudent, I've been able to kind of kick back a little bit and take care of something in the right way, rather than I'm working 12 hours a day. I've got no time for this thing that showed up.
Yes, and it's so key, to talk about the inevitable, the um, inexplicable. Sometimes things happen and it takes you by surprise, but having a plan in place will really mitigate your nervous system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, I had to just tie that in there because people don't realize how much low level stress that they carry around about their finances. And it's kind of like, I like to equate it to the scary monster that was under your bed when you were a kid.
Oh, yes.
I feel like it's exactly like that. So when you're a kid, you think there's some sort of scary monster under your bed, and then one day you turn on the lights and you look under there with a flashlight and you see there's really nothing there except maybe some dust bunnies or whatever. And that's not really that scary. Well, I feel like our finances are exactly like that. If you just put a flashlight on it and just look at it, stare it in the face and see what's going on, it becomes a whole lot less scary because it's manageable. I'm not saying it's perfect, but at least you
Yeah,
have an idea of where it is, and you know where you want to get to. So then you just have to create a plan.
exactly. And we are your financial wellness team here for you right at your corner. And let us know if you have any questions.
Yes, absolutely. Feel free to DM us. Feel free to ask any questions. And also, if you thought this was useful, please share it with somebody that you think could be benefited by this. So, again, we're here every Thursday, most Thursdays. Every now and then we can't, but so glad to have all of you guys join us. And thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.